Welcome and thank you for joining us for Coffee with Hilary and Les, brought to you by State of Mind Hypnosis and Training Center, located in the heart of the Kawartha Lakes. This is our almost daily community podcast about the mind and how you might change it in the most simple and helpful ways. Every day we sit, staring at the lake and sipping our coffee, having a chat about hypnosis and how to make those meaningful adjustments to our state of mind. Because nothing is more important than your state of mind. Okay, we're on.
We're on. It's good to be on.
On the line.
It's on. It's a nice warm day. There's geese everywhere today. It's funny watching the geese. This is the time of year when the geese have all their goslings following them around. And then there's this group of geese that are all of last year's goslings, and they're not mature enough yet to be reproducing, pairing up and reproducing. And so you see the families go back and forth with their dozen goslings, and then there's this group of other geese that are just sort of hanging out together, living their lives, watching the families. The families keep them away. It's really interesting. To me.
I don't know why the movie Grease just came to mind. Like all the kids hanging out in their cars.
Yeah. Yeah, they're teenagers.
Yeah.
They're like exercising their beginnings. They're busy. I mean, you watch geese. It's amazing. You know, we have geese around here all the time, so you can really watch them. You can really see how they have really a daily routine. Like they find the regular places they go to do their regular grooming, or they do their regular feeding. They really seem like they're on a schedule. Mm-hmm. They're just learning, I guess, how to be adults.
Yeah. Yeah. The pecking order, and so.
Yeah. It's hard to tell the males from the females at this stage. Or
I still don't know how to.
I should say it's impossible for me, anyway. To tell the difference between the males and the females.
Not that close.
What I know is once they have babies, the females are in the front and the males are in the back.
Yeah.
Mom takes the lead.
Yeah.
What did you want to talk about today?
I'd like to talk about emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, anger and sadness. So when I take clients through their programs, we always start off with anger. No matter who it is, we always start off with anger. And anger seems to be this wall that we build up with bricks of sadness and hurt and fear. And we just keep stacking the bricks, and it creates a wall, and then we find that we can't really feel our emotions, and when we do feel an emotion, oftentimes it's frustration or anger. When that wall is heavily fortified. And what I've noticed is that men have a harder time with that wall. That wall is heavily fortified with many bricks. And I'd like to maybe talk about that. We were watching Ted Lasso last night. And
Yay, Ted Lasso.
Yeah, we love Ted Lasso. And it really shows that show really shows how men can be very emotional, and that's okay. Like they can be in touch with their feelings, and that's okay. And it's almost what makes the show so endearing, right? Because everybody's really in touch with their feelings, and
or in the process of getting there.
Part
of the plot seems sometimes that they're so out of touch.
Yeah, but they're being helped by others, right? And they're coming around. And so I just wanted to touch on that, like how that happens, especially for men. Going through that, society, what happens in society to fortify that wall for them. Yeah.
I've always believed that, I shouldn't say that way. I have come to believe that anger is an almost created emotion. It's not one that we are predisposed to when we're little. When we're little, we're either happy or we're sad or we're hurt. And we watch our parents and learn how to become angry. Now, I've certainly seen and experienced babies cry with a lot of force. And maybe that's anger. I don't know. But I think that we learn to use anger, and I think emotions can be really a choice. And we just don't learn how to make those choices. Anger has been such a significant force of motivation in our world, right? It's the standing up for yourself. It's the fighting back against being mistreated. It's the drawing a line in the sand of saying this far and no further. That emotion of anger is one that we really turn to a lot. And I think we really do associate anger with men. When we think of really angry situations, we think of men. Mm-hmm. So just like any other aspect of us, in my opinion, it's about programming. And that programming takes place very, very young.
I also noticed that when like clients, when we go back in time and situations of anger come up, it's usually because they aren't taught that excuse me, they aren't taught that anger is, like you said, it's a signpost, right? It's a sign in the road or on the road that says this is where a barrier can be made. This is where a healthy barrier can be made. But oftentimes we're not taught that, and so we stuff it down or we release it, and it comes out in unhealthy ways. And then we develop habits. A lot of times, what comes up, and again, for some reason, specifically with men, is embarrassment leading to anger. Not knowing what to do with embarrassment, and then that leading to anger. So, yeah, it's an interesting...
Yeah, I think there's a program there that develops in men that they think in terms of toughness. They think in terms of strength. They're expected from very, very young. I mean, I don't know too many people that didn't at some point in their life get told big boys don't cry. And I think that I like the work of Cal Banyan. He simplifies emotions really well, I think. I've found it to be very valuable just using those tools with clients. He talks about the secret language of feelings, and he talks about anger being the emotion that says, I'm being treated unfairly. And it's important, I think, to realize that there's a meaning there. The meaning is I'm being treated unfairly, and then there's an emotion that gets paired with it. And I think that that's how it comes about. Mm-hmm. And we get programmed or trained to think that if I'm being treated unfairly, the right response is anger. Unless maybe you're being programmed to be quite a normal female, which is you're not allowed to express that anger, whereas men are supposed to express just about every emotion they have as anger. Mm-hmm. And I think that, we've lost we have really inhibited men's ability to have a full range of emotions that are free to be expressed in softer ways, tender ways. I think, one of the great truths, and let's go to, because we were thinking we were headed in this direction, let's go to the idea of crying. Mm-hmm. And tears,
Yeah.
And men are taught that tears are weakness. Tears are a sign of inability. They're a sign of femininity. Tears we seem to associate with a feminine view, and it's just not true.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I like this one. I heard this one years ago by one of the Hay House authors. I think her last name is Richardson. She said, "Tears mean truth," and it struck me so truthfully that I had tears come to my eye when she said it. Tears mean truth. We cry when we're laughing really, really hard. When something's really, really funny, we cry.
Yeah.
And it's a natural tendency for little kids when they get really, really frustrated that they cry.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it's natural when we see deep, deep love.
Mm-hmm.
Tears come to our eyes. Tears don't necessarily mean sadness, though they can. Mm-hmm. But it's not the sadness as much as the truth that's behind them. Yeah. And so there's the refrain for the day. Tears mean truth. They don't mean weakness. They don't mean softness. They don't mean female. They don't mean anything negative. They're a symbol that truth has come to the table.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's so true. I know when, sometimes during hypnosis, when you hit on a truth, or like when something comes up, I'm trying to think of an example, but even for me as the hypnotist, I don't know about you, but I have to hold back sometimes, because sometimes you get your energy is just in this state all of a sudden where it's like you're downloading truths, and it's just all coming together for you and the person, or just you or just the person, and it's like, oh, there's tears coming to my eyes. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It happens to me when I see those kinds of releases in my clients. It's really big. Sometimes when I'm working with a client, my goal is to generate some tears. What's shocking to me is the number of people that tell me I don't cry. Mm-hmm. And it makes me puzzle about what their experience must be when they bump into truth, when they bump into things that are deep and meaningful. Are we just so programmed to suppress emotions so that the only option left is responding in anger when anger pops up?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's exactly what happens. You get even the smallest frustrations, getting cut off on the road by some driver, or something in the grocery store lineup. Like, everything just starts to get to you because you've, as I think it's Cal Banyan as well, like your cup is just overflowing, right? You don't have any room in the cup any longer, and you can't even see the cup any longer. It's not visible to you.
Yeah, the past emotions build up. If they're not processed, they manifest. Mm-hmm. And then you walk around saying, why did I say that? And why did I do that? And why did I act that way? Mm-hmm. And it's just your subconscious mind trying to get rid of this stuff, or at least try to make sense of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and just, quickly going back to the, feeling like crying is a feminine thing. It's not that femininity is negative. It's that, society has painted it as negative for men to look like they're being feminine, which we as again, a society, we've attributed it to women, you know.
And, society, I feel compelled to say society is made up of individuals, and every one of us is a member of that society, and every one of us can choose something different. Every one of us can decide today that tears flow from all emotions, because what's really causing the tears is how close we are to that truthful interpretation of the experience. And that we can choose our emotions. Emotions are a natural response to things usually, but sometimes we get habitual about them and we can be more attentive to them. One of the benefits, to the program you use, Hilary, and I, people should know I'm working with Hilary. She's working with me through that process. And when we just covered off anger, there were such incredible insights to it. I think that it brings me back to the idea that, anger is the emotion where you feel like you're being treated unfairly. And one of the great insights I think that's available is that when somebody treats me any way at all, it's got nothing to do with me, right? They would have done it to anybody in that circumstance. They would have reacted to any person who would have been in that situation with them. They would have reacted that way. Now, yes, it might very well be an unfair reaction on their part, but it has nothing to do with me. And I don't have to take it on. And as a result of our work and Hilary's wonderful hypnosis technique with me, that just comes to mind now. Every time I get the urge to be angry at somebody, immediately it comes to mind, this has nothing to do with me. This has everything to do with them. And the only thing I can do that's useful to them, right? The only thing that's actually helpful to them is for me to just respond with forgiveness. Just let it go. Just don't take it on and don't engage it and don't build it up, and maybe even find a way to diffuse it and offer some kind words. And then what happens after that is I walk away with a circumstance where my anger is understood, my anger is processed, my anger is resolved in an attempt to find peace. And boy, oh boy, I don't carry that one around now. That one's not part of my internal subconscious mess.
We're always unraveling our internal subconscious mess. Every one of us. Yeah. So yeah, what else would you like to talk about today?
Well,
anything else that comes to mind?
This is where we'd love to have questions. Did you get any questions from anybody?
No.
Not yet? Okay. Well, send us your questions. info@somhypnosis.com. And we'd love to answer questions. We want to reframe every day, talk about a topic, reframe it, answer questions. And then, Hilary, what's going on this week? What are our events?
Well, tonight I'm holding an impromptu info session, so we'll see if anyone shows up. And then Saturday is the intuitive self-hypnosis. Yeah.
We got a few people for that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a few people interested. I'm really trying to push the social media for it, so hopefully people are more engaged with it and it's top of mind, and maybe we'll get a couple last-minute people.
Beautiful.
Yeah, but these, if you hear this podcast after this weekend, these things are going to be held on a regular basis. So if you want to see about our workshops, just head on over to the website, somhypnosis.com, somhypnosis.com, and check out the workshops.
And you can always send us your email and you can be added to the monthly email that summarizes all the events that are coming that month. And anything special that we're working on, we'll keep you informed. Yeah, the goal here is to be helpful.
Yeah.
And so we do stuff to be helpful.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
All right, well, that's it for today. And we'll see you tomorrow.
Okay. We hope you enjoyed today's podcast and that maybe it helped even a little. If you have any questions, we would love you to send them along in an email to info@somhypnosis.com. Thank you for being part of the State of Mind community, and for more information about hypnosis and the various online or in-person services we provide, please visit our website, www.somhypnosis.com. While you are there, why don't you book a free 1-hour journey meeting with Hilary or Les to learn more about what hypnosis is and how you might use it to make your life what you want it to be. Bye for now.